Hi, it's Alison from the Law School Toolbox. I'm here with Lee, and we're talking about how to be a more successful 1L in your second semester.
Okay, well, before we wrap up, if the semester didn't go well, and really, I mean, almost anyone can find a growth point in their semester.
Exactly.
It's time to make a plan. That's what this whole podcast has been about. So now, how do you sit down and make that plan? We've talked about pieces of the plan, but let's kind of overall talk through it. So if you have an academic problem or concern, you need to think about who you are going to turn to for help. Make sure you use all the resources at your law school. They are free. Well, they're free as in you've already paid for them, but you should, contact academic support, see what resources there are for you, especially if you're on like academic probation. Usually schools have specific programs for students that are at risk of being on academic probation after that first semester. So you want to go meet with those professors. Those meetings aren't always easy, but they're so kind generally in those offices, and they really want to help you succeed. So try and reach out and set up an appointment to figure out who you're going to turn to for help. Of course, our team is here to help you too. If you want to get help outside of your school, you can always contact us at lawschooltoolbox.com and we can talk about tutoring. But you really do need to, make sure that you have the right people on your team to help change outcomes.
Right. I mean, for me, for example, I came back to school and was basically clinically depressed. So I showed up one day in the health services office and said, I need to talk to someone about this. I went into therapy, turned out to be a great move. But if you are suffering from any type of like mental health issue, often your school has resources available to you that are already included so you can get help. Law students are notorious for needing therapy. I think everybody understands it. Nobody's going to look down on you. No one is going to think it's weird. They're going to say, thank you for showing up. It's great that you're here. Let's get you some skills to handle the stress of your future career, because that is just the reality. So, if you had test anxiety, that's something to look into. If you have, any type of issue that maybe you need to look at accommodations for, I think that's also something to go talk to your school about. They all have offices for this sort of thing. But anything that sort of impeded your best performance, now before you didn't know, now you do know. You know what happened. You know what the results were. So I think it's about getting the pieces in place to help you overcome those challenges and move forward in a way that is working better for you.
Yes, and I think that a lot of students really struggle with the idea that if someone has suggested they may have ADHD. I know of students who have gone to those meetings with their professors, talked about their exams, and the professors have said, I'm concerned that I'm seeing some work that may suggest that something like that is going on. And then a student might say, I don't want to go down that road. I don't want, and I understand that. However, I would really encourage you to realize that knowledge is power in this situation. And if you learn more about how your brain works, it just allows you to build the scaffolding and have the coping skills to perform at your best. And so it can feel very vulnerable to, ask for more help, to learn more. But in the long run, it's really going to support you and your academic efforts and lead to success on the bar exam. I mean, all of this stuff builds on each other. And so you really want to keep that in mind. So I know it can be really hard to go ask for help when these challenges present themselves, but you're going to be glad you did in the future.
Right. Your professor sees a lot of exams. And the reality is we talk to a lot of law students, and oftentimes we can tell pretty quickly, not that we're, diagnosing anyone, but we sort of have a sense of like, has anyone ever mentioned, that ADHD might be something you want to look at? And more often than not, we're kind of correct about it. So it's just a pattern that people see, and that's all it is. But I do think, get whatever help you need to be the best law student you can be. And, I think that's what this is all about, is just doing your best. You're not going to be perfect, but just do your best.
Yeah. It may feel like we've asked you to do a lot in this episode, or we've talked about kind of a lot of things that you need to do to set yourself up for the semester. But when we talked about having those, pockets for deep work, I think this is the deep work to do at the beginning of the semester. This is what you do before you outline, before you have a lot of substantive work to do, is to take some time and generate these plans, look at your calendar, go to these meetings, do the self-evaluation. So you know that the hard work you're putting in for the rest of the semester is going to get you to your goals and really allow you to perform at your best. So it may seem like a lot, but I think investing in this work at the beginning of the semester is going to really set yourself up for a much better next few months.
I agree. Thanks everyone for watching. Check us out at lawschooltoolbox.com and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like and leave a comment. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via the contact form on lawschooltoolbox.com.